In the words of a wise ancient philosopher, serenity now. I'm decided that despite everything going on in the world, I'm going to try to be more positive moving forward. I think I was a little too dour last episode, so I'm excited to be here. Happy to be back with you. Happy to be back with the people, doing a podcast, trying to have a good time. Even though the world's still on fire, here we are, back again. Another exciting episode of Devil's Due. Drew, how are you, sir? There we go.
Yes.
The status quo is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm happy that you're happy and willing to be happy. We need a counterbalance on this show.
I didn't say I was happy. I'm merely trying to be more positive.
That's good. I will. I could use the respite from making the vague everything gesture.
We're in the Lego Bizarro verse where everything is not awesome.
No, it's not. They jumped the gun there on that. But that aside, I'm again okay.
All right.
So
cool.
Yeah, things are fine. What's going on? What's going on?
How was your weeks?
Oh,
anything fun happening? Anything new stuff going on?
Let's see. When did we do our last episode?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So I think since then, I spent a weekend in Chautauqua.
For the youngin's birthday.
For Grant's birthday, yeah. It's an accidental tradition now that we go away for Grant's birthday. So, Chautauqua sure isn't San Francisco, but looking at current events, San Francisco isn't San Francisco right now either. It's more like, I don't know, hell.
Well done.
Red skies.
Well, yeah.
The anti-monitor is going to peek around the corner pretty soon. There's a crisis in California.
Yeah, either the anti-monitor, Galactus, or Unicron.
Something like that.
One of those two. Definitely our hearts and thoughts go out to those in California.
Yeah, it's not ideal. But anyway, we had a pretty good time. Pretty strong, mask adherence and all that in Chautauqua, so it was decent. I felt reasonably comfortable, although we did sit down at a couple of restaurants and we were outside, granted, but I still felt strange. But again, distance from people and precautions taken by the servers and staff and stuff. So it's fine. It's fine. Everything's okay. It's just times we live in, unfortunately. But all is well. Dude is now 2 officially. So the terrible 2s have begun, even though they began long ago. Then not a ton else has really been happening on my front. I've barely made progress in Golf Story. Did we talk about Golf Story? I don't know if we talked about Golf Story.
You talked about Golf Story last week.
Okay, I still like it. I just haven't had much time to play it, but it's a very enjoyable game. I do recommend it, especially for the $7.50 that I paid for it. I think I've more than gotten my money's worth. So that's pretty cool. Super Mario 3D All-Stars just came in the mail.
Mine has been delayed.
Let me tell you.
We got the notice from Amazon, which is funny because our Amazon Prime account says it should arrive today by 8 p.m., but then it says it hasn't shipped yet. So,
without
Amazon, have you invented transporter technology?
Well, let me hit you with this, just without getting too deep in the weeds on what I ordered. Let's just say that I have a package coming to me from New Hampshire, from a gentleman in New Hampshire. It should have been here 10 days ago. It is in Buffalo, but it is in a shipping container that has not been opened yet, at the post office because they are so backed up with parcels that they don't know when they're going to get to it. So it has been sitting in Buffalo for 10 days and they don't know where it is. It has not been processed. It's just sitting and there's nothing I can do about it. So yeah, good times. Good times.
Yeah.
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 So, anyway.
I mean, given how well the post office has done throughout this whole thing up until this point, I can't really say anything bad about them.
Ain't that some timing, though, huh? Anyway, again, don't want to dwell. Everything's okay. Everything's great. Yeah, 3D All-Stars came. My Snap Judgment, I've only played 64 and Sunshine briefly so far.
Okay.
64 holds up about as well as you might expect, which means it's actually still a super enjoyable game. The camera is as annoying as it ever was, but it hasn't been debilitatingly so thus far. Considering that it was like one of the first games to really, truly nail 3D platforming and stuff like that.
Right.
It's better than it's fine. You know what I mean? It's fine. So to that end, cool, good stuff. Sunshine is as weird and awkward as I remember it to be, so I'm not in love with it just yet. Although I could get there, but there's a problem, and I haven't found it yet, so maybe it's in the options, and I just haven't discovered it. But there's no invert Y-axis on the right stick, and that's driving me insane. So that's going to be a problem if I can't do that. So it's going to really hinder my gameplay.
The same way.
I apparently we're outliers, Carl, and I don't know where I first learned the inverted axis on the right stick, but I can't.
Probably some sort of flight simulator.
Possibly a flight simulator, yeah. But I can't go back, and people that want to argue with me about it and tell me to just change and adapt, I'm sorry, my brain is hardwired for a certain thing.
They do it for first-person shooters, for everything.
Yeah. And Nintendo, unfortunately, by default, does not do that. They're on the, some companies do that. They'll give you the default as inverted, but Nintendo doesn't, and I don't know if there's an option to flip it. So that could be tricky. We'll see. But other than that, it's fine. Sunshine certainly graphically has a better fidelity than 64, but again, 64 still looks pretty good for a 24-year-old game.
Yeah.
Not much else is really going on. No, can't say much else is really going on. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Past couple weeks, not a ton of stuff's been going on. It was Julie's birthday last week, so happy birthday to her.
Yes.
She has had her birthday was Tuesday of this past week. She's had the entire week off from work. I took Monday and Tuesday off to kind of hang out with her and whatnot. I got her three presents. The first is a food scale, and she said she just wanted a food scale. I got her like the Lamborghini of food scale.
Oh yeah,
like this thing has an app. This thing, how you have the nutrition facts on labels.
Yeah.
On like food products. Well, this one has one of those on the side, and you punch in a code, and then you put the food on the scale, and it fills out the nutrition facts for what you're weighing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I did all right there. And then I got her a cold coffee maker, is the one I told you about. Cold coffee brewer. Yes. She loves it.
All right.
Loves it. I mean, full disclosure, she got her presents like a week ago because the box came, and she was just like, "Are those my presents?" I'm like, "They're not your presents." So she got to open them early. And then she got a Lego set. I got her the Iron Man Hall of Armors Lego sets.
And how many pieces is that bad boy?
Not a lot. It's not one of the bigger ones. I think it's roughly around 500 pieces. That's not really that much. So
cool.
It has her favorite Iron Man armor in it, which is the Silver Sentinel armor from Iron Man 2. So
right. Underrated.
That's her favorite. Yeah. Are you talking about the armor or the movie?
The armor. I will say that the movie might be a little. The movie's developed something of a bad reputation, and I don't know if it deserves it, but I haven't seen it in a while. But
I never understood why people said it's bad, because it's not. I'm sorry. It's another quality Marvel gem.
I don't know that, without getting too off topic, I don't know that I would say any Marvel film is bad.
Yeah, no, there's not a quote unquote bad one. There are ones that are weaker.
Yes.
Iron Man 3, Thor 2. But even a weaker Marvel film is still better than 80 to 85% of the other comic book films we make today.
Yep.
So yeah. So there was that. We've been watching Seinfeld. I've never seen Seinfeld, so
I
watching.
Love Seinfeld.
We are on season 4.
Oh, you're in the thick of it now. That's when it gets good. The first one, maybe 2 seasons are okay, but 3, 4, now you're in like when it starts hitting stride, and it doesn't really stop. Yeah. It doesn't stop the stride till the very end.
I mean, back when they actually allowed shows to develop and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, we just got to the episode where everyone went to the cabin. Kramer's got the Cuban cigars.
The cabin. Oh,
George is trying to get the show back on the air.
Yes.
Turning down the deal because it wasn't Ted Danson money.
Ted Danson. He wants the Ted Danson money. Yes.
So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Carl, the show is Seinfeld, and every character is tremendous unto themselves. It's phenomenal, but we are all George Costanza in some way.
Oh, without a doubt.
George is the heart and soul of Seinfeld, and you will not tell me otherwise. That's great. I hope you enjoy it. I have loved Seinfeld for so long, and it's one of those shows that if it's on, I have to watch it. I don't care what episode it is. If I'm flipping channels and Seinfeld's on, I will leave Seinfeld on. It's just the way it is. I feel like shows like that are very few and far between, and I think the newest one that has reached that status, and I'm guilty of it myself, it's got to be The Office. I love The Office as well, but it's on Comedy Central all the time now, and it's the same thing. I just put it on, and it's on, and I'm never disappointed. It's like, oh, it's this one. I love this one. Like,
it's another one I've never watched.
It's another example of like the first season is kind of okay, but then 2 and 3, boom, they find the footing, and it's you're off to the races.
Yeah, well, I mean, no first season of a show is ever like really like the definitive season,
right?
Because you gotta learn it. You gotta get used to the characters and kind of let them grow into what they do. Unless there's like something that's really planned out in advance and has gone through, and like the story structure is very planned out, and everything is set up. Something like a Westworld or something like that.
Yeah. We live in such a instant gratification society, though, man. It feels like these shows, especially like on Netflix and stuff, if they're not immediate hits, they give up on them.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I think did you watch Space Force on Netflix or no?
Yes.
So I didn't love it, but I felt like in the first it took a few episodes, but once I kind of got into it, it was good. You know what I mean?
It was funny.
It was funny. And I'll be
there for John Malkovich and Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Just going back and forth.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I think that because of the lukewarm reception to the first season, I don't know that it's going to get a second, and that kind of sucks because I would watch another season of it because I bet that they steer hard into everything that worked, and I could only see it getting better, but I doubt we're going to see it again.
I don't think Netflix really. I can't remember a show that Netflix has canceled after only one season.
Especially with the clout that show has, I would hope that they would give it another crack, because
usually Netflix does at least 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Iron Fist got 2 seasons.
Iron Fist got 2. That's our metric. Iron Fist got 2 seasons.
I still haven't finished season 2. I'm like halfway through it.
Meanwhile, Daredevil does nothing but deliver amazing content, and they sacked it after 3.
Yeah. Well, there were other.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Hey, we haven't talked about in a while. No, I'm sorry.
We haven't talked about it in a while. No, go ahead.
We haven't really talked about wrestling in a while.
We haven't talked about wrestling in a while, and oh, good Lord.
Dude.
Was this week's AEW straight fire?
AEW's been on a roll, dude. Like, All Out was kind of whatever, which is a shame because that's like, that's kind of like in normal times, All Out is like their big pay-per-view. Like they're I don't want to say they're Mania, but it's definitely big, right?
I thought All In was Mania.
Well, no, All In preceded AEW's existence. Technically, AEW doesn't own All In. Technically, Ring of Honor owns All In. But it's very complicated. All In was the show that basically made Tony Khan go, okay, I could possibly put some money into this.
Yeah.
So the sequel to All In was All Out. So that's why I say it's kind of like it's a big show for AEW. And unfortunately, COVID and a series of other talent related problems kind of made All Out this year kind of a bummer. But the shows leading up to it and the shows now that, dude, every show since All Out has been fire. Like there is so much good stuff happening right now on AEW. It's ridiculous. It's awesome. There's just a lot of great stuff happening.
Yeah, I've been absolutely loving it and enjoying it. Oh man, that parking lot brawl.
Yeah, it was great.
that parking lot brawl.
Meltzer gave it 5 stars.
I mean,
that's insane.
They opened up the hood. They put Ortiz.
Oh, poor Ortiz.
In between the hood and the engine, and then they did a moonsault onto the hood.
Yeah, dude, the whole thing, folks, that whole match was. They did that all, by the way, in one take, one camera, one take. Did you realize that? I didn't even realize that as it was happening.
That one wasn't live?
No, but they taped it and they did one take and one camera. That whole match. And nothing was like bad. Like it just ruled pretty much start to finish.
Yeah. That's insane.
That's hats off to everyone involved on that match, man, because there was some tough bumps, and I'm not a blood and guts kind of guy, but like that match just had the right kind of vibe and feel to make all that stuff work for me. Even Trent's bump into the windshield, which was like, oh god, that's gotta suck. But it wasn't gratuitously violent. It was just violent enough, and those guys put in the work, and it was just a really great match.
Yeah,
Hangman and friggin' Kazarian, by the way, putting on a pay-per-view match on television. Jesus.
The who was it?
FTR and Jurassic Express having a great match. Express.
Yeah, the opening match. That was a pay-per-view quality match.
I know.
I mean, granted, my scale is probably a little slightly skewed because you've been watching this a lot longer.
You are absolutely right. Though they put on.
I watch this
yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah, they put on a tremendous match on television. Not even pay-per-view, just television. Man, they are delivering. And so AEW's on fire. Carl, the G1 starts Saturday. Tomorrow.
Now, the G1 is New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yes, the G1.
Not their Mania, but it's like a tournament.
It's a tournament, round robin tournament. A block and B block, and it lasts for weeks. It's the toughest. It is the toughest tournament in wrestling, without a doubt. It will test any athlete's mettle because they wrestle every day almost, and NJPW's match quality is the best in the world. And like, those guys grind hard for the next 6 weeks. It's going to be a real grind for these guys, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm just going to point out the A block. So are you familiar with the A block, B block, round robin kind of? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what a round robin is.
Everyone faces everyone in the block, right?
Right.
Okay, Carl. I'm going to hit you with this.
Okay.
The A block. This is just one of the blocks of the G1 tournament. Here are the participants of the A block. Are you ready for this?
Go.
Okay, I'm going to start from the bottom and I'm going to go to the top. And you're going to... All right, ready? Go. Okay, in the A block, Yujiro Takahashi, not Hiromu Takahashi, Yujiro Takahashi, the other Takahashi. So again, we're starting from the bottom, going to the top. Okay.
I have no idea the difference between the two.
Oh,
I know one of them hates living things.
Okay. Jay White, former champion, the replacement Kenny, so to speak. He's great. Taichi, who I hate, but is putting in some good work lately. Okay, get ready, Carl. Ready?
Okay.
Takahashi, whatever. Jay White, okay, whatever. Taichi, whatever. Minoru Suzuki, Shingo Takagi, Will Ospreay, Tomohiro Ishii, Kazuchika Okada, Jeff Cobb, and Kota Ibushi. This is the A block. This is only one of the blocks. All of these guys are going to face each other in the G1. In the opening round of the G1.
In fighting game tournaments, we call those pools of death.
You know how insane these matchups are going to be? Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? Oh my God. There are main events. There are so many main events in that block. It's sick. It's that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Opening night, Carl. The opening night tomorrow on the G1. You are going to get Ishii versus Suzuki tomorrow. You're getting Shingo versus Jay White. You're getting Okada versus Ibushi tomorrow in the opening night of the G1. Jesus. Oh my God.
So when does all this, like our time, when does all this take place?
Usually it starts like 6 a.m. Eastern overnight tomorrow. So Sunday you might want to, if the Bills game is kind of whatever, put on NJPW World and watch the opening night of the G1 because that lineup is just, oh my God. That's bananas. I'm not even prepared for this. I'm not ready for this. As a fan, it's a grind.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. Yes. I saw something mentioned on Twitter about the Thunder Rosa Evil East match from Wednesday night.
Yeah, so I got some observations about that match.
Calling it a shoot fight?
Okay.
Can you explain the uneducated what they mean?
Well, a shoot is, in wrestling parlance, a shoot is when it's for real. As in, it's a shoot. As in, this is not a work. A work as in, this is not part of the show. A shoot is, okay. Oh no, it's real. Now, I don't know how shooty it really got, but Evil East definitely, she has something of a bad reputation, for being unprofessional. And yeah, she was kind of unprofessional in that match to start it off. Things were not quite maybe clicking between the two of them in the ring, and she really made it. obvious with some bad no selling and things like that. I didn't notice it as much live watching it. I did feel that match kind of started off poorly, but I felt that it got really good, as it went on, and I thought it ended strong. But I've seen some highlights and replays since Wednesday, and it's like, oh yeah, Ivelisse is being super unprofessional in this match. So Thunder Rosa, to her credit, is trying so hard to keep it going, keep it alive. But Ivelisse is with her facial expressions and her obvious just distaste for how the match is going. Yeah, not a good look for Ivelisse. I'm a fan of hers because she was in Lucha Underground and she was dope, and she was in the trios with Son of Havoc and Angelico, and I love that and all, but her reputation is her reputation, and it's not a good one. So she might get a talking to from Tony Khan. We'll see. I don't know.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, that has been our weeks and a little bit of wrestling updates for you. Like I've always said, we don't shy away from what we're passionate about on this show. Dear listeners, if you'd like to tell us about your weeks, send us any questions or comments to be read on the show. You can do so at the following locations. You can follow us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Devils Do Pod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, that being said, we actually don't have any emails because it was a crazy day for me. I didn't get to put out the bat signal that we were recording tonight. But folks, you don't need to know we're recording to shoot us something.
No.
Shoot us something whenever you like.
Anytime.
And it will get on the next show. We are hardly to the point where emails are not going to get read because of gotten so many of them. We love and appreciate those who do send them on the regular when the show's going to go up. But again, anytime, shoot us something. So, that being said, let's move on. We got a lot of news to talk about, actually, so we're going to have some fun tonight.
All right.
Fortunately, no sad stuff like we had last week. So let's just start out. We're going to go through no particular order. Drew, we have a Hulk. Or should I say, a She-Hulk.
Okay. See what you did there, like a thing.
Yeah, see? I did a thing. I can be clever sometimes. Actress Tatiana Maslany has been cast as the She-Hulk for the forthcoming Disney Plus She-Hulk live action series. Drew, I am extremely happy about this, as are many, many people.
I am unfamiliar with her work, but given the very positive reaction from you and many others, I look forward to this, I guess.
I would highly recommend. You have Amazon Prime, right?
I do. I very rarely watch anything on it.
Okay. Given the oodles and noodles of free time you have, I would say watch a show called Orphan Black. It is incredible, to say the least.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where she gained her fame and notoriety. It is a show about clones, and she played, I believe, 6 or 7 different characters on the show, and each character felt completely unique, completely fleshed out, and a lot of that was due to her performances.
All right.
So, yeah. So she's been cast as She-Hulk. No release date as of yet has been set for the She-Hulk series. No release window even has been set. Obviously, with things being the way they are, not being able to launch into full production just yet. We shall see. Once again, fingers crossed, She-Hulk be an awfully good way to reintroduce Daredevil.
I do wonder if they're gonna make her just go get really jacked, or if there's gonna be CG involved here.
She's not a very big person, so I'm guessing there's going to be some CG involved.
Okay.
So, and as we've seen with, with the quality of production on Mandalorian, I have no concerns about a CG Hulk on a Disney Plus show.
Very curious to see. I mean, we're going by Mando standards, and Mando's great, but we still haven't seen the Marvel stuff yet, and they're still teasing us with Falcon Winter Soldier stuff, and
yep.
I'm ready. Show me. I need something.
They said it was earlier this week. I guess it was kind of pseudo confirmed through a trailer for the service that WandaVision is still slated to come out this year.
Yeah.
Let's see. I thought Falcon Winter Soldier was first.
And yet that still seems like they're shooting still. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. We will get it eventually.
Yeah. I did see the post-production picture. Well, I guess whatever. I guess maybe was it a photo celebrating the wrapping of shooting? But I saw a black and white photo of Falcon smoking a cigar. But I can't tell you what his suit looked like because it was in black and white. So either that's some big misdirection or that suit is red, white, and blue.
Yeah. So we'll get it eventually. It will come. I hope.
I'm very ready for it. I'm very, very ready for Marvel.
So, I have enjoyed the respite from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The being able to kind of let the Endgame finale sit and solidify its place in my heart, and my mind, and whatnot. But I'm kind of ready to get back into things.
Yeah. Like I said, I think we both have kind of felt that Endgame is certainly a good place to end. It's not just a clever name. Yeah. It definitely felt like if you want to check out of all of this right now, you absolutely can. So anything from here on out is gravy. But it's up to Marvel to kind of reset the stage and, build it all back again, and I'm ready for that. I think it's taken me a little bit, but I'm with you there. I'm kind of ready to. All right, let's get back on the bike and take this ride because I'm ready now.
Yeah, me too. So moving on, DC.
Hey, it's not all bad over there. I mean, not really.
So, Drew, as we have predicted for some time now, Warner Brothers / AT&T have made it official. DC Universe will be essentially ending.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
As a video streaming service. It will carry on as a digital comic service.
That's fine. I mean,
yeah.
That's fine. You know what? That's fine.
I mean, Marvel's got their service that does that, so now DC will have that. So all the DC Universe shows are going to get moved over to HBO Max. Whether or not the older stuff is also going to get moved over, I would have to assume that yes, it will be. But nothing has been confirmed as of yet. So the original content that was going to be being made for the DC Universe is going over to HBO Max, which I'm okay with because I have HBO Max and there's some stuff on DC Universe that I've kind of wanted to check out. And the one thing they did bring over, they brought over two things. Doom Patrol, which I haven't watched yet. The other thing they did bring over was the Harley Quinn animated series, which I was delightfully surprised how much I've enjoyed it.
Mm.
And it was just a lot of fun. And it's like I said, it's like if Archer was a DC series. It's essentially that.
Okay.
It's I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. They made it official that it is getting a third season order on for HBO Max. So I'm definitely happy about that. I do hope that the legacy stuff, the old shows, make their way over there as well. Because oddly enough, for if anything else, I would love to be able to have once again the Batman, the Brave and the Bold series to be able to stream, predominantly for William. Secondly, so that I can go through it again myself, because that show is just an underrated gem, a love letter to the Silver Age of comic books, and just really, really enjoyable to watch. So hoping to get that. But obviously, it'd be nice to have all the animated films and the Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Radomski series. So it'd be good to have those.
Yeah, that's the thing with HBO Plus or Warner Brothers, whatever, HBO Max, sorry, and all the Warner Brothers content is like their stuff is kind of licensed out in a lot of places, and despite your expectations that it's all going to fall under the HBO Plus banner, that might happen eventually, but for now it's still kind of fractured. So that's kind of a bummer. But in time, I guess it'll all kind of find its way home, I suppose.
Yeah, it's the same way on the Disney Plus app too. There's still some Disney stuff that you can't get on the Disney Plus app because it's licensed out to other places.
Yeah, ironically, I think is it? I know this is like corporate crap that no one really cares about, but I find it interesting that Disney Plus obviously has Star Wars, and yet Star Wars still gets aired with some frequency on TNT and TBS, which are owned by Warner Brothers, AT&T. So interesting how that all kind of works out.
Probably nice cushy deals on those for some time.
Sure.
So yeah, what else was
I'm a little, what's kind of sad about that though, and I do worry a little bit, is at least with DC Universe, you got the impression that as long as DC Universe existed, there was a chance of them continuing to make interesting live action content. So like your Doom Patrol, your Titans, even though I wasn't into Titans, Swamp Thing, for example, which was actually unfortunately an early casualty. But now with it folding into HBO Max, I wonder if that's still going to be the case. I feel like it might not be, because it's no longer a DC umbrella. Like they're going to renew the stuff that was working, but it's no longer so DC centric that I wonder if HBO or whatever just decides, we're going to keep this stuff, but don't expect new stuff too often on this front.
Right.
I don't know.
I know that Doom Patrol got a season order.
Yeah, that's actually, that was like one of the first ones to jump over, and it did very well apparently. So good for Doom Patrol. As a fan of the comic, I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, so they got a new season order. Swamp Thing, the season is actually being run on the CW. So I believe that will ultimately decide Swamp Thing's fate. If it does numbers on CW, then I would fully expect there to be another season, and that might even be a good home for that show, because they handle the DC stuff very well, and they don't shy away from doing a horror themed show.
It's such a bummer. I really hate that show came and went and that was it, because Swamp Thing, I feel like it's one of those properties that comics fans just all have a huge, if nothing else, have a huge respect for and want to see it do well. So that's a bummer that it got that one season, and apparently it wasn't enough to keep it alive, and that's disappointing.
But we'll see. Hopefully, if it does the numbers, that might be enough to resurrect it.
Maybe.
So, swinging back to Disney Plus, like I said, we're just jumping all over the place tonight. It's okay. It's only rock and roll. We got a long-awaited season 2 trailer for The Mandalorian. Drew. Boy.
I mean, come on. Like, did you, it's like, what did you expect to not love it? You know what I mean? Like,
oh no, of course not. I'm like, I don't
sign me up. We're all in for this. You know that.
I don't need a trailer. I was going to watch it regardless.
Oh, of course.
But still nice to see.
Oh, of course.
And there was and they played it beautifully because there was no big shocking reveal in the trailer.
I think the most shocking reveal in the trailer was Sasha Banks being in the show. Actually, I did not know that was going to be a thing.
Who's Sasha Banks?
She is a WWE
I know
preeminent
I know.
women's champion talent in WWE. She's great. She's phenomenal. But I didn't know she was in this show, and she was in the trailer for a hot second. And I thought, is that Rosario Dawson? Then they kind of got closer. I'm like, no, it's not.
That's Sasha Banks.
That's Sasha Banks. I didn't know she was in this.
She's gonna hit the Mandalorian with a steel chair. So yeah, they
Beskar steel chair. Oh,
yeah. There you go. See what you did there. Yeah, they showed us enough to get us excited. We got a nice little humorous moment with the child closing up the little pod when things are going to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because a lot of the fighting game community Twitters were like, "Ooh, we're going to get more Karis Kasai."
Yes.
I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Throw it in there.
Worst so October 30th. October's gonna be a good month for Star Wars, Drew.
Hey,
we're getting Star Wars Squadrons October 2nd, and we got a character introduction CG, not like a trailer, but almost like a mini episode this past week as well. Did you watch it or no?
No. So what is this? What is the Squadrons that you're talking about?
So Squadrons is a new game that's coming out.
Okay.
It is very much built. It is by EA. So because Star Wars, they still have a license and whatnot. But everything they've shown of this game is making it look like this is the game that a lot of people have wanted for a long time. Because
so you're talking about the game. So is that CG trailer thing? Is that related to the game, or is that a tease for a new show?
No, it's a character introduction for the game.
Oh, okay, cool, very cool.
And Drew, legitimately, it was 9 minutes long. It might be better than the whole of Rise of Skywalker.
Well,
it was just fantastic.
What if I may, what time period does Squadrons take place in?
Post Jedi, but not
so Mando-ish period, maybe. I
would say probably we're probably. I think I'm sure this is out there officially somewhere where it officially falls. We're probably within 1 or 2 years of the Battle of Endor.
Okay, so
the Empire is still very much a presence, but they are definitely on their heels.
Okay, because Mando takes place 5 years after Jedi.
6 years.
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah. So this I don't believe would be that far down the road.
Okay. And did I read correctly that Favreau is directing 2 episodes or something in season 2? He did not actually direct any of season 1. Is that true?
Yeah, no, he didn't. He did not direct any episode. Well,
wow, that's pretty amazing. Given as a showrunner, man, didn't direct any of it.
I'm checking on that.
Okay, and did I also see, Carl, that season 2 will feature direction from Robert Rodriguez?
Yes.
Dude. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully in the episode where Bill Burr comes back.
Can I dream, Carl, of a certain machete wielding individual to perhaps make an appearance in season 2 of Mandalorian?
Drew, if Danny Trejo shows up in a Star Wars property, I'm scared of what would happen, because that's kind of like I've seen it all.
I mean,
I don't need to really see anything more. I can leave this existence. I mean, peaceful and happy.
Wasn't Machete supposed to go into space?
He was.
I mean, hello. Here we are.
I mean, let's get some Trejo's tacos in a world, in a galaxy far, far away. Okay, so I just checked. Jon Favreau did not direct any of season 1.
So now he's getting his hands directly into season 2. All right, yeah. Cool. A lot going on.
Cannot wait.
And I think I saw Carl Weathers is also getting to direct an episode.
Is he?
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's great. I'm here for all this, man. I am here for all of this.
Yes. Squadrons! I can't wait. Everything they've shown, like in the price tag, still has me a little concerned, because it's EA, and they're still telling me it's only $40. Oh man, everything they're showing is just hitting all the right notes. Yeah. Okay, so moving back to Marvel, it was reported this week. This has not been, I don't believe this has been officially 100% confirmed, but it's being reported by outlets who typically don't report something like this frivolously. This is not from WeGotThisCovered.com. This was Superhero Hype, Comic Book Resources. Typically, if they're reporting it, it's pretty solid. Jonathan Majors has reportedly been cast as the villain for Ant-Man 3, and that villain, Drew, will be none other than KTK, Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I misspelled Conqueror, but that's fine.
It's fine.
I did a Mortal Kombat. Oh.
That is... Oh, boy. That's a big box to open, Carl. and they're going to do it in Ant-Man 3.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense, because the whole time travel was introduced via Ant-Man. So yeah, it is interesting, and exciting, but also a little bit worrisome.
Why would you say that?
I am very wary of time travel as a storytelling mechanic when your core story is not about time travel. So, like, if you want to tell me a time travel story in Back to the Future 2, that's fine.
Yeah.
Not tell me a time travel story in like something that's well established and whatnot. I'm kind of like,
So where do you come out on Endgame then, since we've established time travel?
Endgame is so good that I forgive all the things that got wrong.
I feel like the door is open. I feel like the next phase of Marvel is going to be a lot more wild and crazy than the foundation that they laid. So they're talking about, one of the movies has multiverse in its title.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about Kang and all bets are kind of off here, Carl. I really don't know what this all means. Things are getting nutty, and you know what? I'm okay with it.
My biggest worry with time travel is it gives you an opening to do something like bringing back Tony Stark, which I do not want to see them do.
No, I totally hear you, and I was going to make a snarky comment. Because I thought before you said Tony Stark, I thought you were going to say Michael Keaton. Multiverse, Keaton, Affleck, we're all just, sure, bring them all.
I'll believe the Flash movie when I see it.
Oh, absolutely. But
you can say you're going to do all these things.
Yeah.
You've been saying that for half a decade.
I literally, maybe more. Jesus.
Yeah.
But that does feel I don't know. It feels more inevitable than ever, I guess. But in any case, with Marvel, it's different with Marvel, though. Because they've really established a.
They have the credit.
Well, no, what I mean is it's different for Marvel in that the DC stuff has always been understood to be self-contained and then, reboot, and etc.
Yeah.
Marvel has established a cohesive, linear universe. And to start really mucking that up is risky. And certainly that would not be in character, so to speak, for what they've been up to this point.
Right.
But again, we kind of said they ended whatever it was that they did with Endgame, and from here on out, maybe the rules have changed, and we'll see where they're going from here.
Okay.
I'm open to it, obviously.
Yeah.
And
they have got a very high credit score.
Yes.
With the Bank of My Trust.
And they still have to find a way to backdoor the X-Men into this and the Fantastic Four. Did you and I not say at some point many moons ago, before we moved down into the Cobra Island Studios version 3.1, we were still in, upstairs in my old office. I'm pretty sure we said we could backdoor some kind of Fantastic Four retcon into one of these movies and put it in the Silver Age of the Marvel Universe, so to speak.
I feel that my idea for bringing the Fantastic Four into the Marvel Cinematic Universe was quite genius, and I should be paid handsomely for that by Kevin Feige.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
You don't remember my idea? Okay, so my idea was...
Refresh us, Carl.
You do, because, like, with Ant-Man, we established that there were superheroes before Iron Man.
That's right, yes.
So you do a period piece set in the 60s of the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
You do just full-on, 60s.
And then would you say at a certain point they got lost in time, and then you bring them out?
At the end of the film, they are trapped in the negative zone.
Yeah, I like this.
And then you bring them back into modern time.
This is all fine.
In the next film. Yeah. So, the only thing I would really not quite have worked out is how do you introduce Doom into modern time?
He gets stuck too.
That seems kind of tropey, though.
Or, okay, let me hit you with this. he doesn't get stuck too. How could we make this work?
He strikes a deal with Kang.
Sure. Yes. Fine.
Yeah.
So he's you could still keep all of his history from the 60s. The Fantastic Four gets stuck in the negative zone. Doom ages. Doom either, I don't know, lives out his life, however, and then at a certain point when the Fantastic Four comes back, Doom finds a way to re-inhabit his 1960s body to be youthful again to take on Reed in the future. I don't, whatever, man. It's Doom. Doom's insane. He can do what he wants.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be my idea for Fantastic Four. But jumping back really quickly to the casting,
yeah,
I'm very happy with this cast because Jonathan Majors, in the very few things I've seen him in so far, has been fantastic. The most recent thing I saw him in was the Netflix Spike Lee film, The Five Bloods.
Is he or is he not in Lovecraft Country right now?
He is. I have yet to watch that.
Okay,
it's on my list, but I haven't.
I'm hearing very good things about it.
Yeah, Alan has been raving about it, and it seems to have a lot of the same buzz that Watchmen had.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking to see it. What's up?
Real quick on Watchmen. Trent Reznor is one step closer to an EGOT, my friend.
Oh, they won?
They won the Emmy for Outstanding Score. So, yeah, Trent now has an Emmy, a Grammy, and an Oscar. So, looking forward to that Downward Spiral Broadway play.
That would be so awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty wild, man. But well deserved. That score is incredible, and I say that obviously I'm biased, but it really, in terms of the Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross scores, because there are many. They've done quite a few films and stuff now. I would put Watchmen right at the top of their body of work. Non Nine Inch Nails division. The Watchmen score is as good as it gets for my money.
Nice.
So anyway, pretty cool.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah, I certainly marked out a bit.
So down to the last piece of news that I have here. We received the long-awaited release date and price point for the PlayStation 5 this week.
Okay.
There was another sort of showcase, what have you, of games that will be coming out for the PlayStation 5, and in the end, they gave us the release date, which is November 12th for most places in the world, November 19th for everything else, China to be determined. The price point is for the digital only. It's basically the same as the Xbox One XYPQ or whatever Series X squared Z2 R5 D4. It is for the digital only version is $399, and for the hard drive for the disc version is $499. So prices have been matched.
Is it 4 or 3? $399.
$399 for the digital only version.
Correct. Right.
Yeah. So I believe that the Xbox digital only version is $100 cheaper.
It is. But it also is not as feature rich.
Right. And from what I've heard, it's not as powerful as the standard disc version, whereas I believe the digital PlayStation 5 is just as powerful as the disc version.
Yeah, I think the sticking point from the spec, the quick, the table of comparisons, doesn't go under the hood or anything, but I think the sticking point is that the digital, I hate, by the way, before I get into this, the naming conventions on the Xbox are terrible. So the Xbox Series S, which is their lesser version, The Series X is the good version, the big bad version.
Right.
The lesser Xbox, it can display 4K video, but it cannot do 4K gaming. Whereas the PS5, both models can do 4K gaming.
Right.
So yeah, there you go.
We saw a bunch of games.
How do you,
we saw Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Okay,
which
but
looks great.
Dude, you know me. Spider-Man for PS4 is tremendous. One of the best games of the generation by a mile. Right. I loved it to death. Well, dude, if you're gonna go hard with Miles Morales Spider-Man, which by the way, go hard with that game because people went nuts when they saw the reveal. Oh yeah, let's go. We both were like, yes, let's do this, please.
Yep.
Well, Carl, it's going to be on PS4. So
yes, which I actually think is smart.
Look, it is, but it also like, do you want to sell PS5s or not? You know, well, because it's not the only game that they did this for.
Pump the brakes there, because Nintendo does the same thing.
Not quite. It's not the same circumstance exactly.
Breath of the Wild for Wii U and for Switch. Yeah, Twilight Princess for Wii and U. And
hold on.
Come on.
No one had a Wii U. We did, but it's a different thing. It's a different thing.
My friend Jim, you know Jim too.
Yeah.
He had Breath of the Wild for Wii U.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Tell him to hang on to that because it's probably going to be a collector's item. I'm not even kidding. Like that will go up in value. Anyway, it's look. I'm happy about it because now I don't have to buy a PS5 until 2022. I can get Spider-Man for PS4, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
I understand that there's cross purchasing.
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
Buy it, you get it for both PS4 and PS5.
Right. Which, hey, cool, very cool.
So again, smart.
It is. These new consoles, I don't know how you feel. I am at a point in my life with these things, unless it's a Nintendo console, which is kind of a different thing for a variety of reasons. It's a different thing. With the PlayStations and the Xboxes, like I'm at a point now where I no longer feel the need to be there day one. The library at day one is very rarely now like must have. At least in the last couple generations, it feels like they really don't go all in on a big gun game at launch to get people in the door. So I'm kind of underwhelmed at the opening day library, and I'm okay with. I'm fine. It's inevitable that I will get one of these consoles. More than likely, the PlayStation 5, just because I enjoyed the 4 so much, and the Xbox One let me down so badly. So, but as I sit right now, am I gonna go online and fight the bots and the resellers and whatnot on these websites to try and get a PS5 pre-order? No. And ultimately the full price is I'm sure it's a fair price, but it's $500. I can wait. I'll wait until there's a slim model or whatever. And I'll wait until there's some true AAA big gun Game of the Year edition games out for it, before I pull the trigger on the new console. But that's me.
No, and that's perfectly valid. I'm not a day one adopter for this one either. There was some interesting stuff that was shown, but again, nothing that made me would want to go through the hassle of trying to get a pre-order for one. That story in and of itself we'll get to in a second. And so, yeah, all the Demon Souls games looks cool and all. Obviously we would love to play Spider-Man Miles Morales, but it's coming out in November.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably still going to be knee deep in Squadrons. And it's just, there's nothing. It's like you said. I struggle to think, like, PlayStation 2. I remember had a pretty solid launch lineup. Solid, not like mind blowing. PlayStation 3 had one really good game at launch, and that was Resistance. But yeah, the launch titles. So like you look at the past couple console generations launch titles with like Xbox and PlayStation, and you compare it in contrast to something like the Switch, where the Switch had arguably probably the best launch in console history.
That's high praise, but I'm not going to disagree.
When you launch, when I say launch, for me, launch window is like the first 8 to 10 months of release.
Okay.
To me, that is like your launch.
Sure.
And when you launch with Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, like what, I can't think of another console that has had a more successful launch. I mean, yeah, you could probably throw like numbers out where other consoles may have sold more, but if you just look at like overall success of a launch,
sure,
I think the Switch had probably the greatest launch in console history. Because, I mean, you look back at the classics, Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, things like that. Those were kind of slow burns, especially the Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. Like, they didn't explode onto the market. Like, Super Nintendo, yeah, because the name was out there and established and whatnot. It wasn't really until, like, the past couple generations to where you really had, like, day one sellouts, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, okay, so you look at, the PlayStation and the Xbox lineups, and there's nothing that's really making you run out and get it day one. But those quality titles are going to be there throughout the course of the console's life. Now we look at something like Nintendo, where they launch with their two biggest titles to date. And they have not, I'm not going to say they haven't had anything since then, because they've had some things, but they haven't.
Animal Crossing says hello, Carl.
I don't need to play a game where I live life. I live life.
That's you, but 24 million copies beg to differ.
But like, they haven't really gotten back to that point.
Oh, they will.
And the offerings have been few and far between, more or less. So I don't know which is a better way to go, essentially. But at the end of the day,
all the Switch does is sell, man. So I don't know either. Like, yeah, I feel you. Like, Sony's gonna be there no matter. Like, Sony and Xbox are gonna be there no matter what. And I just said, I already conceded. I will get one eventually.
Yeah. And they're both going to have good games on them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it's just like, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, we either have good games now or we have good games later. But right. The moral story is we have good games. That's really all we're really interested in. So I think it's incredibly smart what Sony and Microsoft are doing with the digital only option. Because this has kind of been like the running question the past generation and a half, is like, who's going to go all digital first? Will someone go all digital first? I think Sony and Microsoft are being very smart here, where they're just going to let the market decide.
Yeah,
like,
I'm curious to see how it's going to shake out, to be honest with you. Do
we go full digital from here forward, or do we still stick with physical medium of some sort?
I gotta tell you, I don't want the all digital ones to be that successful, but that's me. I've been on the record of being very pro physical media, etc. I'm curious if these digital only models will really be a big success. The price point is certainly enticing, but when you buy the hardware, now you're committed to being part of their online service, I'm sure. right? Or not? I don't know. Okay, so now they got you. They got you there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like that personally. I like to have the physical thing, but I've said that before, and I feel like a dinosaur more and more every day. So I don't know.
So would you feel? Let me ask you this: would you feel more comfortable with a digital-only system if there were multiple sources to acquire games from?
How do you mean? How do you mean?
Like if you had other, like for example, on PlayStation, if you had other options to go through to purchase a game other than the PlayStation Store.
Wow. So I could kind of download from wherever?
Yeah. Let's say just to use them as an example, GameStop came out with an app on the PlayStation Store that you could download games from and purchase games from.
Well, for me, it's not really it's not a price point issue. It's a versioning issue. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
because that way maybe you might not have to be locked into. I mean, kind of with PlayStation and Microsoft, and even with Nintendo, you have to subscribe to their online service to play games.
Right. And not only that, when you're in their ecosystem, they are the arbiters of what is in or out. So none of them are ever going to let you do whatever you want on their hardware. That's just a fact of life. So it's kind of a moot point. But I mean, let's just hypothetically say one of them did say, "Yeah, download your games from wherever," and our console will run it. That might be a game changer because at that point, I can get whatever version of the game I want as long as I know how to find it, and as long as Sony can't lay the smackdown on a patch on my game and say, "Oh yeah, all that content that you remember, we have to take that out because of licensing issue X." I don't. That's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm very much like. We talked about this, your Grand Theft Autos and whatnot. Like, they're not the games you remember them. If you try to get them now, they're not going to be the same because they can't release the same content anymore. I'm not even sure how's that Tony Hawk Pro Skater re-release going. I don't know, but wasn't the soundtrack like a huge portion of that game's like cultural imprint? And
it definitely was. I think that especially, I mean, obviously with games from previous generations, it's going to be an issue. But I think game companies now are probably smart enough going forward, saying, "Hey, if we're licensing your music for this game, we get that license for this game, whatever we choose to do with it."
Right.
It's probably not something that will revert back to the artist at some point. They probably pay like a one-time fee now, and they have the license for that specific game in perpetuity.
Yeah.
So, but no, I get what you're saying. I haven't seen anything about the Tony Hawk release. I was never big into Tony Hawk, so it's
me neither. It just came to mind because it's a I know that it came back out recently, and Anyway. We'll see. I don't know how to feel about it. I know for me personally, it would be a disk drive version or not at all. But that's me.
Yeah, it would. I'm equally interested to see how the digital only versions do. I don't have necessarily the same hang-ups on physical media that you do, and I'm not besmirching those at all. But I'm finding ever since I stopped trading games into resale or whatnot, physical media doesn't matter as much to me right now. And
I totally concede it's cumbersome, and you might go back to it, you might never go back to it, but I like knowing that I can.
It's funny because at the same time, like in my entertainment cabinet, I've got my PlayStation 3 and my PlayStation 4 and the Switch is on top. And Julie asked me, like, when we get a PlayStation 5, which one is going to be replaced because I don't have any more HDMI outlets. Right. And it's funny, I think obviously the PlayStation 4 would be replaced before the PlayStation 3 because I plugged in the PlayStation 3 recently.
Wow.
And I've got some downloads on there that you can't get anymore. Like I've got Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the X-Men arcade game. I've got the Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time remake, which is not great, but still, like, can't get it. So, like, I would probably keep, and it's a first gen PlayStation 3, so it's fully backwards compatible.
The Fat Boy.
Yeah, the big one. With every possible memory card slot you can imagine. Even though backwards compatibility is just not important to me at all. Like,
it is to me. But you know, then again, at the same time, as I say that, I'm also sitting here telling you that, you know, I like my hardware. Yeah. Like, you know, I have that hardware. I can hook it up, you know?
Yeah, you still have all your Nintendo systems. So
absolutely.
Like, if you want to play an older game, you just plug in the system. But like things like, you know, yeah, PlayStation 3 was great that it was that started fully backwards compatible with PlayStation 1 or 2, but after time, like, how often are you really going back to those older games? I mean, not really that often.
Not that often. It's not my lifestyle. Yeah. But
so much that a new system not having that backwards compatibility would be a deal breaker.
Right. Still, you know, the archivist in me just loves having that stuff. You know, I don't know. Yeah, no, I like having that option. I just. Yeah. I don't know.
Totally. So after the showcase, the PlayStation 5 immediately went on pre-sale, and it was almost immediately sold out.
Yeah.
The reason being is because all these pre-salers and whatnot did not put a 1 per customer limit on the pre-sales.
Dude, that is...
So, as you mentioned, bots, trolls, whatnot, snatched them all up, and now you can find them all on eBay for a considerable markup. How do you do that?
I don't know, dude. Honest to God, all of this, honestly, online retail and ticketing and all of it. It's so stacked against you. It's so dumb. I don't know how. I don't know. It's so stupid. How did we get? How is it this dumb? It should not be this stupid. But here we are. I don't know. That's a shame. That's just a shame. Like, people, I don't know. People want these things, obviously, but like. It's easy to say if you want it, you should be able to get it. Demand is demand. I understand that. Like, there's only so many available and it's going to sell out. But there's so many bad actors that try and get these things just to resell them. And yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it feels cheap and unfair. And there has to be some kind of better way. I don't know what that better way is, but there has to be a better way.
Yeah. I mean, it seems the better way would simply put a limit on how many can be purchased at once.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like, just say 1 per customer. Who needs more than 1 PlayStation 5?
Yeah.
Well, I know. You're going to sell them all.
Yeah.
So you're not shorting yourself of any money. I am very thankful that they weren't able. Capcom was not able to do what they had planned, which is to make Street Fighter 6 a launch title for the PlayStation 5. I'm very, very thankful that is the case. So now I don't have to worry about, you know, who I'm going to mug to get one day one. Because if Street Fighter 6 was a launch title, that would have been a problem.
Not that it super matters, but I will say this about the PlayStation 5. I really don't like how it looks. And I don't like the controller either.
I don't dislike it. It looks different. It's not just another black box. So good on them for trying something new.
It's going to look kind of weird in my entertainment stand, though. The black boxes are nice because they just kind of blend in.
Yeah, but that's the problem. They all just blend in. Nothing stands out.
That's
Nothing's
fine.
like
That's fine. It's fine.
they, like even the PlayStation 4, even though it was still another black box, it's still a little stylish to it. You know, had some sleek lines and whatnot.
But it's
like,
still blended in nicely. The five
Yeah.
the five is
fine with it. It's
the
okay.
the five is a look. I'll tell you that.
It is a look. The controller, I
Mm.
can't make a judgment until I actually hold one and use one.
Yeah, aesthetically, I don't like the two-tone look they're going for, but I'm sure I'm sure it's going to be fine. Comfort-wise, I'm sure it's fine. I just
My
don't
only
like how it
problem
looks.
I don't have a problem with the system being white, the controller being white.
Well, to be fair, my Xbox
Like having a
360
white car, it's never going to look clean.
No, I mean, to be fair, my Xbox 360 controllers they're white. They're okay. They held up pretty good.
All right.
So,
So yeah, the new console generation is upon us, and I guess rumors are still swirling around about an updated Switch model.
it's been rumored for a while. Another report went out saying it's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
Didn't you hate when Sony and Microsoft did this with their last generation?
Yeah, and I hated it when Nintendo did it with the 3DS as well. But this is a natural extension of. It's just where we are now. Nintendo did it with the 3DS and the DS before it. They did iterative upgrades to that console's lifespan, and it looks like the Switch, being the spiritual successor to all Nintendo consoles, is going to probably do the same thing. Here's the weird thing about it, though, Carl. For me, I don't necessarily like it, but the Switch in so many ways feels like Nintendo's final form in a way. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right,
it is the everything. It is the Nintendo evolved. Like this is what Nintendo was kind of destined to become. So if from here on out, if all they do is release new air quotes Switch models, fine. I get, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
fine. It feels like they were destined to do this in a way,
I was actually very surprised. Well, not very surprised, but surprised enough that neither Microsoft or Sony attempted to kind of adapt some form of a portable play mechanic.
Now that you say that, me too. I fully expected some kind of, I don't know, something, but it kind of feels like they're both just saying like, you know what? Nintendo's space is Nintendo's space. Our space is our space, and we're all okay with that, which is oddly refreshing in a way.
Yeah,
I remember even as frequently as or as recently as the Xbone, they were trying to trot out that smart glass feature. Remember that?
Yeah.
As kind of a Wii U killer sort of thing. Like, look, you can do two screens with the Xbone too with smart glass, and it was like, yeah, no one cares. But to be fair, no one really cared about the Wii U either. But that's not, again, here nor there. But there was still that kind of hey, look, us too kind of thing going for it. And now it just feels like, nope, you know what? Nintendo is doing Nintendo, and Sony and Microsoft are doing Sony and Microsoft, and everyone is okay where they're at. And that's interesting.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what would a new Switch like? What would get you to buy a new Switch? Like, what changes would they?
I'm not sitting here clamoring for an upgrade, to be honest. But if if we're talking hypothetical, a little more horsepower to get to maybe get some of the big titles from Xbone and PS4, ported over. That'd be cool. Better Joy-Con controls to some degree. I don't know.
Yes, I was actually playing Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe with William tonight before we started recording, and he loves to play 2 players at once, which means breaking up the puppy and into the two little ones, and drew my hands so big.
Yeah. It works, but it's obviously not ideal. So some kind of Joy-Con fit. Air quotes fix. I don't know what that means, but something more comfortable, or more symmetrical, or more asymmetrical. I don't know. A D-pad, I don't know. Some kind of more practical workaround for all that. I don't have a lot of issues with the screen, and I know some people say it's not the best screen in the market, but whatever, it's fine. I don't, to be honest, man, I don't need a lot. I keep the games coming. If you want to give it a boost in the hardware department, cool. More battery life, I guess, if I'm knocking on wood and making wishes here. More battery life. I know that would go a long way for a lot of people. It's never been a huge issue for me, but I know it has been for others. So, give people what they want there. Higher capacity storage, I suppose. So if you want that digital future, you can kind of have it. Again, the Switch just feels like a fully evolved platform for gaming. I don't have a long list of wants out of it, short of just keep the games coming, So
I would say get the games coming already.
Well, I feel you there. I feel your sentiment, but at the same time, my backlog is deep, so I don't feel the, I'm fine. I'm fine here. I have plenty of games to choose from. A lot of catching up to do on indie games and stuff like that. I love indie games a lot. I like indie games, to be honest, a lot more than a lot of AAA titles more recently. So I'm more than content with what I have at my fingertips right now. And I know the proverbial big guns are coming. Nintendo knows they can't go too long without having any. So stuff is coming. They just haven't told you yet. I guess. Speaking of which, look at that segue. Remember when we said that Nintendo said that they weren't going to do directs anymore? We were all mad about it.
Yeah. We've had 6 since then. What? I don't. So maybe it was translated incorrectly?
Yeah, I don't know.
We've had literally since we did that story, we've had literally, I think, 4 directs.
Yeah, no more doesn't mean what Nintendo thinks it means, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not. Because we had the Mario Direct, we had 2 partners directs.
Yeah.
So we've legitimately had 3 since we did that story.
No less than 3. Yeah. Hey, fine. But that's kind of what I mean. We all are waiting for the big guns, but they're they're a surprise direct away from hitting you with a big gun. So
I would be happy for a medium gun at this point.
You'll get something. I don't know what's a medium gun to you.
I would know it when I saw it.
Fair enough.
But right now, the thing I'm most excited for right now for Nintendo is Mario 35.
Okay.
And that's something that I'm excited for because I'm just going to get it when it comes out because it's part of the service. But at the same time, it's not going to stick around. It's for now anyway. It's a limited release, which I don't get. But okay. But I'm excited for it. But no, I would love to see another Mario game. I would love to see, even though I don't play them, I would still love to see another Zelda game. doesn't have to be the Breath of the Wild sequel. I know that's what they're making, and that's great. But I would like these things. I would like them not as a carryover to the next console.
Well, I think you're going to get Breath of the Wild 2, obviously, for the Switch hangs it up. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do maybe the they already did it for the Wii U, but perhaps they'll do another Wind Waker HD port to the Switch, which fine. Same for Twilight Princess. They're ports, but they're great games, believe me.
And a lot of that we'll probably see next year at the 35th anniversary Zelda, whatnot. But
very possible.
Again, they're ports. Want something new.
Well, yeah. Well, if you're saying you want new, Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be new. But if Hyrule Warriors 2 is going to be new to a degree.
Yeah, the port. Yeah, that's the fourth mini we got. It wasn't even like a mini. It was a mini. We got
very small.
The Hyrule Warriors 2.
Yeah,
mini-ish announcement.
Yeah, that game will probably do very well. To be honest with you, it's probably going to sell very well.
But yeah, I would. Yeah.
You don't worry too much. I have a feeling lots of good stuff's coming. Just a hunch.
Again, I just think of that scene from the Camp Krusty episode where Bart's huddled in the corner.
Krusty's coming. Don't worry. They're gonna hit you with something soon. I don't know. It's been a minute. They're gonna drop something soon.
Okay.
I don't know what it's gonna be, but something's coming.
Krusty's coming.
It's been quiet for a little too long. Like something's cooking. They're gonna drop something in our lap soon. And you're not even gonna know that it's something you wanted, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, I want that."
Pro Wrestling Remake.
Let's go, make it happen.
Oh God, I would love that. I would love that.
The AEW game is in development. Keep that in mind.
Sweet. Okay, that's all I have, Drew, for news. Unless there's anything else you have.
No. I'm good here. We're fine now.
Cool. All right. So, folks, we appreciate you joining us. It was a fun little episode. I like these kind of one-off episodes and whatnot we've been doing. It's a good time. If you would like to reach out to us, message us, ask us any questions to be right on the show, send us any comments to be right on the show, you can do so at the following social media locations. You can follow us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can email us at thedevilsdupod@gmail.com. You can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/devilsdupod, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdupodcast.com. Drew, any final thoughts?
I'm trying to be clever, and I don't have a lot of clever thoughts here. Did you watch any football last week? How'd you feel about the empty stadiums and all that business?
I don't like pumped-in crowd noises. I was actually looking forward to football and basketball without the crowd noises, because we would have gotten to hear an aspect of the game that we don't normally get to hear.
Oh, they don't want you to hear that, Carl.
Yeah.
They need a much longer than 7-second delay to have that for on television.
Yeah. much longer than 7-second delay and a turbo dial on the sensor button. Yeah, Bills looked fine. They looked like a professional football team for most of the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, for me, football has always been more of a community experience, and obviously we can't have that right now. So I
That's
don't
fair.
get as into it when I'm not watching it with friends.
That's fair.
I can just as easily switch it off and play a game or something.
We're ending the show here, but I would be remiss if I did not drop this on people. One thing I forgot to say this up front. I probably should have said it up front, but I forgot. But I'm bringing it up now. One thing that has given me great joy in the last 2 weeks has been the revival of the former Deadspin staff at their new site, defector.com. So if you were a fan of Deadspin, Defector is Deadspin. Deadspin, as it is now, is a bunch of scabs run by a vulture capitalist investment firm, and it's garbage, which is why the whole team quit. And now they have reestablished themselves at Defector, and oh, Carl, I'm so happy. It's so great.
So what you're saying is Finkel is Einhorn.
More or yeah, we can't call it Deadspin, but it's Deadspin. It's real Deadspin, and Deadspin is just dead. It's zombie Deadspin, and we don't talk about it. So Defector is brilliant. Drew Magary, my favorite writer, he does his annual "Why Your Team Sucks" articles on all 32 NFL teams, and they're all just brilliant writing and made me smile. Tremendous journalism, tremendous writing, and it's I don't subscribe to a lot of websites. I don't subscribe to a lot of news websites at all, really. But Defector has my annual subscription because I respect everyone involved in the publication and grinning ear to ear every day at their content. So I'm happy that they're back, and it's been a bright spot in an otherwise bleak world.
All right.
They didn't pay me to.
Cool.
They didn't pay me to pitch that, by the way.
We do not have their sponsorship.
No, I'm that much of a fan, and I think if you enjoy good journalism and snarky content and funny, great writing, it was Deadspin. Deadspin is dead. They are all now together at Defector, and by the way, they all are owners of Defector. It's not run by some hedge fund. The writers are the owners. So I feel good about my subscription going directly to the people involved. So yeah, cool. Yeah, it's been great. I love it.
Cool. I'm glad you have found something you enjoy that can put a smile on your face.
I've been laughing like an idiot every day at the Why Your Team Sucks articles every day.
So it's not just the Bills that you look out for; it's all the teams.
I mean, I look forward to the Bills one obviously because it's my local team, but I can read all of them, and I'm not even that well versed in all 32 NFL teams. But the Drew Magary's writing style is just tremendous, and he will find a way to make you double over, and you will spit take, and you may be breathing milk out of your nose several times throughout the course of his articles. So it's just been great, and that's only one thing that only comes once a year. The rest of the year is full of great stuff too. But in the last 2 weeks, he crammed out all 32 of them over the course of 2 weeks, and it's just been it's been so much fun. It's been so much fun, and I feel like I've already gotten my annual subscription's worth, and then this site just launched.
Alrighty. All right, well, folks, that's going to do it for us this week. We appreciate you stopping by as always. We, depending what schedules and whatnot, we might be doing a live streaming show on Facebook for our next episode.
Yeah.
It's something we kind of want to play with. We'll see what happens with that.
Depends on how many of you all want to hang out with us for a little bit on a Friday night. So
yeah, and fear not, if we do live stream the show, it'll still be available to you in POG form.
Yes.
To be downloaded on the way you normally listen to us now, as we always do.
Yep.
So, all right, cool, folks. Be excellent to each other. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And we will talk to you again soon.